Hello, Graham Vincent, Violinmaker musician, back in the workshop Monday morning. Right, I'm getting on with 3 violins at the moment. 2 in the wormy chestnut, 1 in maple. And if you've seen my last week's video, you'll have seen that I decided to use this this kind of mould where I have effectively created an internal mould, which now that I've got the ribs bent onto it, I'm going to turn into a skeleton mould by finishing off these saw cuts. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put the linings in. So yeah, let's crack on and do that. I'll just stand you to one side so you can see what's going on. And this is the first time I've done this, so I'm not sure how it's going to go either, so we'll see. I think that's probably the best saw for it. And in terms of where I'm going to do this, gosh, my bench is a bit of a mess at the moment. I think the best place to do it actually is going to be over the vise, so I can prop them up like so. And this blade isn't long enough to strike any part of the vise, so it should be okay. So yeah, let's go for it. I'm slightly uneasy about having my hand just there. A bit more comfortable here. Okay, well, that's moving. First thoughts, looks like it's going to kind of work. Which is nice, a bit of a relief. And also I didn't have to use either of these other little cuts. I thought if it got difficult, I'd be able to subdivide it and get the piece out more easily. I think I've got a little keyhole saw somewhere, but I mean obviously this saw wouldn't be any good in that slot, so hopefully I won't need to go hunting for that. Depends how this goes. I've got a drawer full of tools that I've never used, that I don't use, that are on the sort of tools you can get rid of pile. And the keyhole saw I know is in there because I've almost never used it. But it's funny, I might, having just realised it might have been useful here, I might dig it out of that drawer. So this is looking promising so far, isn't it? I like it. On with this. I feel quite nervous about this for some reason. No need to feel nervous because I mean these bits, if I needed to, I can stick these back in very easily. Just pop them in there and put a blob of hot melt glue or something on them. I'll keep those to one side until I've finished work on the body of this violin, so that I know they definitely won't be needed at that point. Or maybe I can reuse this mould then. There's no reason why I shouldn't just stick them back in with a blob of hot melt glue or something. Ooh. Or maybe hide glue. I'd have to I'd have to put something in to replace the kerf of the saw, because obviously we've lost a little bit of material. Ooh, I think I might have just bent the saw then. That's not very clever. This is a flush cutting saw rather than a saw for this sort of thing, but what other saws have I got? We've got this one, but it's a bit wide. Let's stick with this one. Or maybe I need to get this keyhole saw out of that drawer straight away. Let's see if this comes out as easily. Oh, that's a little bit stuck in there. I might just give it a little tap there. See if that loosens it. Otherwise I might have spoke too soon about how well it was going. Oh, that's moving. Yep. We're on the move. As I say, this is... Oh, blimey, knocked over the camera. Oh, everything's all right though, I think. Yeah, good. But as I was just trying to say, this is an experimental kind of mould. I'm not suggesting it's a good idea. I'll let you know about whether it's a good idea or not, in my humble opinion. Probably in a couple of weeks' time when we've actually sort of got a finished body. And we'll know whether it worked well or not. So the jury's still out at the moment. If it is just going to come out in this minimal number of pieces, then the idea, which I think other people have suggested as well, of actually making a plate to hold it all together, just on one side, starts to look like a sensible one, because it's going to be, if it does come out this easily. Oh, that's moving as well. Yep. Getting exciting. Ribs in skeleton mold. God, they feel absolutely solid. They don't feel like... They do feel like that's going to constrain the movement nicely. Oh, I like this. Gosh, okay. Because if you have a ring, a rib garland without anything, then it tends to be squishy, you know, it just wanders all over the place. So where can I get this bit out now? Can I get this bottom bout out? I suspect this one might be a little bit more troublesome, but we'll see. You know what I might do as well, actually, quickly, before I lose track of which is which, is actually number these. No, I'll have to do that later. And I will actually just put 46 on these anyway. Rather than, I mean, the other one's 45. At least I've At least I'll be able to find the ones for the right mould. Anyway, that'll be a starting point. Where were we? What's on with this one? Hello, I'm back with the voiceover again as well. I did do a little bit of editing on this one. I chopped it up in some places and sped things up because, I mean, I watched it through and it was quite repetitive, so I think you'll understand why I've done this. I'm really liking this so far. Also, I wanted to do a bit of a voiceover to make it a little bit more cohesive because I managed to lose about 1/3 of the video I shot. I'll explain why in a minute. Oh, I really like that. I really like that. It's kind of... it's hard to explain just how very, very rigid that feels. With a rib garland, without any sort of mould, you'd expect it to be... But there's absolutely there's no feeling of any slight possibility of putting a twist in that whatsoever. That's really interesting. Okay, I'll get on and do the other two, and I'll probably high speed it through this bit for you, but anyway. Yeah, I will indeed high speed it. The iPhone is great for filming. It does a really good job. It's easy to use, everything in focus, the sound's good, but Apple seem to take a delight in making it very hard to use a PC to do anything if you record on an iPhone. So it took me ages to move some video across. I had to split it up because it was quite a big video, and then managed to lose about 1/3 of it somewhere. So this voiceover is hopefully going to make this a little bit more understandable. This is me mucking around with different saws trying to work out which is the best one to use. Ended up back with the flush cutting saw. Yeah, so I mean, I was cutting up 3 of these. The first one went well, the second one went pretty well, although I did manage to break one of the blocks off the actual jig when I was tapping it out, which was frustrating. Now, this is where I've lost the footage, and so you'll see I've just leapt straight to the 3rd violin. And you'll notice I've made a real pig's ear of that centre section. That's because I had rather cleverly drawn where I wanted the bandsaw cuts to be, and then neglected to actually do the cuts themselves. So I ended up drilling holes and rather ad hoc kind of sawing my way around. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't my finest moment, but it was effective anyway. So I must admit, I'm really feeling very positive about using this jig system. I might actually design one that is reusable, but there again, the time invested in actually just bandsawing it out and so on was very small. I think the lesson there is marking out holes, marking out saw cuts, but not actually making the saw cuts is not an effective way of carrying on. Anyway, I've fudged my way around it. In terms of its usefulness and efficacy, so to speak, this one is very good. It just reminds me how little I like MDF. Plywood is so much nicer. Right, I'm going to glue that one back on there. That one that came loose, I'm just going to glue that on there. And then I'm going to start putting linings on. So off I go again at high speed. Yeah, I mean basically using hide glue, I obviously just glued that block on there, put a rubber band around it. In the process managed to actually damage one of the ribs as well, so I had to glue that later as well. Then what looks like an extraordinarily wide lining. I've kind of got into the habit of rough bending the linings as wide sections because it's fairly easy to do so, and then I tend to, I've done it a couple of times now, and then I just mark them up and cut them down using a knife. I must admit, I really do lust after a cutting gauge, so I must make one actually. Maybe that's one of the things I ought to make for the Patreon sort of bundle. A good cutting gauge. Never had one. I was doing a lot of whittering on, wasn't I? So anyway, yeah, so I think what I was talking about here basically is you'll notice that I don't know, if you followed my channel, you may have seen me using a sort of a Mittenwald type knife cut sort of location of that central lining into the blocks, and I've gone back for this one to using a Cremonese kind of housing. I think the main reason I've done that is I've sort of found a very nice little sort of chisel, which is pretty much exactly the width of a lining, so that kind of makes chopping those housings out an absolute doddle really fast. Yeah, so no surprises. It was getting towards lunchtime now, so I was seriously thinking about lunch. So I think I probably, yes, I'm pretty sure I finished the video after having put one lining in. But the rest of the linings are pretty much in now since I finished recording this video, and yeah, no great surprises. Using this system, it was incredibly easy. Being able to see both sides of the lining, yeah, as I just indicated, as I just showed then. And also help with the gluing up.
Bob in there. Bit of a messy glue up there, but that doesn't matter because I can clean everything up really easily. Yay.
I do sound rather pleased with myself, don't I? Goodness gracious.
That's, I can see that's down nice and tight on that face. That's excellent. Yeah, I'm sold on this kind of mold thing. Yeah, there's certainly some improvements to make to the design, and in future I will try not to forget to actually put the saw cuts in that I've actually drawn on. But so far I'm rather liking this, I have to say. So let's just a bit of cleaning up.
Not the best camera angle.
I just had to go and find another brush because I managed to boil my water pretty much dry the other day, and that had my brush in it, and I damaged the bristles on the end of it so much that I had to throw it in the bin, which is a bit painful, but there we go. Yeah, done. Nice, good, really happy with that. I'm going to end the video there. I'm going to go and have some lunch, and I will just pop this on the computer and upload it, so hopefully you'll see it this afternoon. But I'm well chuffed with this mold system. That's really good. Okay, that's it for me. Cheers folks, look after yourselves, bye.